Yes, welcome back to 2019 Lotus Lantern Festival. This is Ryu, your host of today's event, and we have more guests and more monk to the studio right now. So, right next to me, from city of Daegu, KOREANBUDDHIST Temple, he is the abbot of the temple, Venerable Doil. Hello,
Yes.
welcome back to the studio.
Hi.
Hello.
See you again.
Right. We were just broadcasting the previous episode, the whole event of the Buddhist rally, and it took quite some time. It took quite a long time, so we had to take a break. Now, with us joining two more guests and one more monk, we have Venerable Yong-soo.
Yes.
Hello, good to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
He's the president of a Buddhist practice Tibetan Buddhist practice community, Seoul, Korea.
Yes.
Right. And we have two other guests. Haim from Israel. Hello, Haim.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
all.
And we have one more guest from Sudan.
Hello,
Ryan.
everyone. What's up?
Oh, the hanbok traditional costume looks
Yes, I'm
beautiful.
actually wearing. Thank you. It's very colorful and I love it.
Yeah, don't you guys agree with me, everyone? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. The color contrast of the dark color and the white and blue color.
Globalization.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the symbolism of diversity.
Exactly.
Right.
It's great to be here too.
Uh-huh. And before, I want to get to you, Haim, about yourself too, but it's time to introduce ourselves. So since Venerable Doyle joined us before, let's hear from Venerable Yong-soo. Could you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Yes, I'm Korean American.
Yeah.
Born in Korea, but mostly raised in America since I was 9.
Uh-huh.
And then I've been living in. I met His Holiness Dalai Lama while I was in America.
You met Dalai Lama?
Yes. Well, not met. I met him many times since then, but I attended a public talk by His Holiness.
Isn't there a formal way to address Dalai Lama, like Your Highness?
His Holiness.
His Holiness.
Yes.
Right. I forgot. So you met His Holiness
That's
Dalai
right.
Lama.
That's right. In Utah, where I grew up, and I attended a public talk. I didn't actually meet him. I just attended a public talk.
The Dharma Assembly?
Just a public talk, for everyone, and it was very inspiring. And since then, I've been studying, Buddhism fairly intensively.
How
then,
may I
yeah.
ask you how old you were at the time when you attended
I was
the talk?
30 or 31, something like that. Yeah, 2001 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that was the trigger moment for you to
Yes.
step into the Buddhism.
That's right. Since then, I feel like I was zapped, by His Holiness, kind of like blessed, making inyan with him, making
Right.
connection with him.
Uh-huh.
And since then, I've been inspired to study Buddhism, and of course became a monk. And I've been living in Korea for the last 10 years or so.
Okay.
Yes. Trying to kind of promote Tibetan Buddhism,
Uh-huh.
as well as learn about Korean Buddhism. And of course, I'm Korean, so I'm very happy to live in Korea, very comfortable living in Korea. So, very grateful to be living in Korea.
Absolutely. I have to say that it's actually my honor to have a Tibetan Buddhist monk to the studio and have this chance to talk about this 1,300-year-old festival. So again, my great honor to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Now we're gonna move on to Haim from Israel. So tell us about yourself, man.
So I've been here in Korea for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
I'm a KGSP student, so I'm here on a scholarship, the Korean government scholarship. Meaning for a year and a half, I studied in Chosun University in Gwangju, Korean, and now I'm doing my MA, which is Media Studies in Songyungwan University.
Songyungwan University. You know that the Songyungwan University is all about Confucianism.
Right.
What is the thing about you can tell us about Confucianism?
So my first degree was Korean studies and media studies. So I studied about Confucianism in relation to Korea. What I studied was that Confucianism to some is a religion, to others is a social construct. So the whole idea of Confucianism is filial duty to your parents, your elders. It's about being good human beings, righteous, and just having a sort of social order in the society.
Wow, I'm impressed. I mean, you can put those in better words than I can. You're like over 70% Korean
I
philosophically.
had to learn about those stuff because I got graded for it. So,
That's what matters when you're in college. The college lives, yes, grades matter.
yeah.
Okay. So the next question I want to ask both of you, Ryan and Chaim, have you joined the Buddhist Lotus Lantern Buddhist or not Buddhist Lotus Lantern Festival? Have you heard of it? Have you joined it?
I mean, I've been. It's not like the same. I guess it should be the same. I've been to one of the lantern festivals in Busan because I
Busan,
used
all
to
the way down
live-
in Busan.
Yes, I used to actually live there. I studied 1 year Korean language in Busan University of Foreign Studies. So I had the chance to just visit and see. I believe the temple was called Samgwangsa.
삼광사
Yeah,
Temple.
it's, yes. So it was very like for me it was the first time ever to see such beautiful colors and and it was just very colorful and beautiful for me to join the festival.
Speaking of which, I think we have some of the photos that you took at Samgwangsa Temple ready here. So why don't we take a look at that right now? Let's check out the pictures.
Yeah, I like taking photos. So
Who
here and
doesn't?
there. I mean, yeah.
These days, especially with the technology of camera and
Right.
smartphones, we take photos all the time. So those are the photos on the monitor that we can see right now.
Yeah,
That's
these
you
are
and your
just
friends.
Some friends that
Uh-huh.
we went together.
You said that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was exactly 2 years ago.
Oh, that gigantic dragon thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of dragons, and I'm like, wow. It's like I'm wondering like what do they symbolize these dragons?
I think
if
Venerable
I
Jungs
might
could
ask.
answer that maybe.
Well, I'm named after a dragon.
Yongsu.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
okay? I would assume Yong means dragon,
Yes.
but what does Su mean?
Su is the tree.
Tree
so,
Su.
Yeah. So like dragon tree. But actually, I'm named after Nagarjuna,
Nagarjuna.
who is he's kind of the father of the Mahayana Buddhism. Anyway, I don't want to get technical, but basically he's a great master in Buddhism, one of the great masters. And so I was named, my Tibetan name is Ludrup, which is Nagarjuna in Tibetan. And then I didn't even know my name when I came to Korea. And I had to ask one monk who is a Sami monk, and I asked him, who is this, great middle way philosopher? He basically he did the treatise on the Prajnaparamita, which is the Wisdom Sutra.
Wisdom Sutra.
Yes. So
So
and then
he's
and then
the
he said
inventor of the Wisdom Sutra.
he didn't invent. Buddha was the
Invent-
but Buddha didn't invent either. Buddha discovered wisdom. We call it the emptiness. But anyway, so he discovered wisdom, but Nagarjuna basically made it easy to understand for people. He kind of purihada, like 해석, interpreted, and made it easily understandable. Emptiness is not an easy topic to understand.
Right. We
So
actually talked
yeah.
about the emptiness a little bit beforehand, and it was
Really?
a little difficult to carry out the whole conversation.
Right. It's it's the most difficult topic
To
in the
understand
world
in
because
Buddhism.
it's the most profound topic in the world. I mean, it's the most profound. It is the kind of nature of reality, nature of life.
Okay.
So anyway, so I asked this monk, who is this guy? He said, oh, that's Yongsu Sinin. And so I said, oh, that's me. That's my name.
So you happen to have that name of one of the greatest
Right.
teachers of Buddhism.
Right. Just the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask Venerable Doyle what your name means, but we have a phone call almost connected ready, so I'm kind of waiting the cue from the producers from the engineering room. We must have the phone call ready, standing by, probably all the way to the parade. And probably we're not. Is it on? Okay, nice. We're good to go. Yeah.
Alright.
It's good to go. Yes.
Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so this is the BBS TV live broadcasting for the Lotus Lantern Festival. Could
Okay.
you tell us your name and where are you?
Okay, my name is Jung Hwan, and I'm currently waiting at the Dongguk University to start the parade.
To start the parade.
Yes.
Has the parade, you're still waiting for it to finally start to take the step?
Yes.
Okay. How many, do you see a lot of people there? Could you describe us a little bit about what is going on?
Oh, okay. So this is a festival where a lot of different temples or Buddhist organizations participate. And we all participate in this kind of a parade. I personally am a member of Jogye-sa youth group. So we are waiting for our turn to participate in the parade. So.
Oh, shortly before, we
Yes.
watched some of the ceremonies that you were doing. Were you part of the dance team?
Yes, I was.
Oh, you were dancing there.
Yes.
All the dance moves were so good. We followed some of the dance moves here in the studio.
Oh, okay.
All right. And is this your first time to join the festival?
This is my fourth time, participating in the parade, and it's my second time participating in the dance group. So.
Okay. I would ask you the second question, like what? I would ask you the second question, but does anyone have any questions for him? Otherwise, I would just keep going. Okay.
All right.
Actually, there are two venerables and two foreigner guests here in the studio. So we're all listening to you.
Yes,
And-
hello.
Okay.
And my next question for you is, so this is already your fourth year, and
Yes.
what makes you come back to this festival?
Well, basically, it's a very fun event. And of course, I'm a Buddhist follower, so it is also meaningful to me, and it's fun at the same time. So.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people were laughing, smiling during the dance moves. It looked truly happy. And
Yes.
right next to you, like, who are right next to you? Are those all members of the youth association or
Yes,
monks?
we are all members of the same Jogye-sa youth group. So.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna let you go. And
Okay.
if you happen to see our BBS camera during the rally, please wave at us, okay?
Okay, I'll try.
All right, thanks. Have a great time there, and thanks
Thank
for being
you.
us.
Yeah, bye.
with us. Yeah, all right. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so it sounds. I mean, did you guys feel the vibe of the
Yes.
on-site?
Yeah,
What is going on there? Yes,
Yeah.
it's really nice. And we're gonna. Oh, okay. But so they're gonna start the parade soon from Dongguk University, and until they'll preparing the whole thing. We're gonna try a little activity, but before that, we have something to check out. There was an exhibition of traditional lanterns, and we're gonna watch a little bit of the video clip of that. So let's watch the video clip right now. Do we have the video clip ready? Okay, good to go. Let's watch it.
나눌수록 커지는 것 그것이 무엇인지
that's been the video clip of the Cheonggyecheon traditional lantern exhibition. Have you been to Cheonggyecheon, the mainstream of that
Yes.
goes throughout Seoul? Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually very beautiful, and there's so many like varieties of lanterns, and not just like there was a baby Buddha.
Yeah.
It was so cute, and then they also had like different like cute animals like rabbits and.
Right,
right.
You were actually paying attention.
I mean, it's very colorful. I mean, it attracts my attention. So.
Normally, the place is, known by foreigners because it's a tourist attraction. The
Right.
place, the river.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw the stream, it reminded me of when I went there for the first time. But what was interesting to me was the first one was the lotus, which I'm interested to know why specifically lotus is connected to Buddhism or specifically Buddha. But then the beautiful thing was they had a lantern that was a train that said that it's going from Seoul to Pyongyang.
Oh,
Yes,
I did
and
not
then
see that.
It read equality, harmony, and peace. And you could see the unified Korea flag. So I
Right.
thought it was really beautiful.
That must be one of the themes that's related to the North Korea and the Korea's unification. Right, right. And you were just wondering about what actually what does
Why
lotus
specifically
flower
lotus,
have
right.
to do with Buddha's birthday? Actually, Venerable Doyle explained that in the before we took the break, but this time we could actually ask Venerable Yongsu, what is your thought about what does lotus flowers symbolize about Buddha's birthday? What's your opinion on that?
The lotus is one of the main symbols of Buddhism. It represents enlightenment. It represents coming out of the mud. The mud is quite dirty, but it doesn't get tainted by the mud. So it's like living in the world, but yet not of the world, not being tainted by the world, and gaining enlightenment within the world. So it's a symbol of enlightenment. It's also a symbol of wisdom. So it's a wisdom that blossoms within us, within our negative emotions and all our habits and bad habits and kleshas. We call them kleshas, which is the banne, which is the negative emotions. Within all that blossoms wisdom, and that is the lotus symbolizes wisdom and enlightenment.
If you actually have seen the lotus flowers coming out of the mud, it really makes sense because lotus flowers usually they grow in ponds, and ponds are not particularly clean water,
Right.
and especially the mud underneath it's really muddy. But then lotus flower, this clean lotus flower just comes out of there and then blossoms. Yeah.
I didn't know
Interesting.
that.
Yeah.
Very
I mean, it
interesting.
makes sense now thinking about
Okay.
it.
Good,
The
good.
explanation. Yeah.
I just added a little bit of visual aid,
Yeah.
mental aid, and then Venerable Yongsu. Before we took a break, you mentioned about the seven steps.
I'm Yongsu, by the way.
Oh right, sorry, I was confused. Venerable Doyle. Right before we took a break.
Yes.
The 7 steps and the lotus flower. Could you tell us a little bit
yes,
about
yes,
it?
Yes. Yeah, according to the Mahabharata, Vinaya, they are mentioned about that. When as soon as the Buddha borns, he walked 7 steps to the north directions, and then at the times the lotus flowers blooms, and from that times the lotus flower is the symbol of the Buddhism.
Right after the baby Buddha stepped like 7 steps on the ground.
It's kind of a legend, It's like, have you ever stepped anywhere and lotus blossoms?
Right. Not yet.
I wish. I
Not
wish.
yet.
So it's a little bit of a legend, and he basically took 7 steps, and each step there's a lotus blossomed.
Right.
And then,
Actually, not a legend.
Not a legend.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
the mention about the sutta, and
Okay,
then
okay.
and
Sure,
then
sure.
and the Vinaya also,
Sure.
Vinaya book
Yes.
also. So we Buddhists must
Yes.
believe that the sutta and Vinaya. So
Okay.
not legend and
Well,
this.
Yeah.
There could be
Yeah.
a little
It's
bit
possible.
of
Yeah.
different
It's possible.
perspectives. There could be different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Anything is possible in the world, so that's definitely
Yeah.
possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what's important for us is to imagine the Buddha's footsteps and the lotus flowers and try to reach the enlightenment by making constant efforts
That's right.
to resemble Buddha's life.
Very good.
Right. Okay, now we're gonna and then they have another video clip ready actually. Didn't you wonder when we were watching the previous clip how they were making the actual lanterns?
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we took a break, Venerable Doyle mentioned about how to make the lantern, make them water resistant. So we get to see the actual makings of those lanterns. Let's watch this short video clip and talk more about the lantern makings. Let's
right.
watch the clips right now.
우리 절 부처님은 마음씨가 좋아요. 마음속 찌든 때 깨끗이 씻기고 우리의 소원을 모두 다 들으시며 언제나 우리 곁에 항상 웃고 계시는 부처님이 좋아요. 부처님이 좋아요. 우리 절 부처님은 마음씨가 좋아요. 마음속 찌든 때 깨끗이 씻기고 우리의 소원을 모두 다 들으시며 언제나 우리 곁에 항상 웃고 계시는 부처님이 좋아요. 부처님이 좋아요. 우리 절 부처님은 마음씨가 좋아요. 마음속 찌든 때 깨끗이 씻기고 우리의 소원을 모두 다 들으시며 언제나 우리 곁에 항상 웃고 계시는 우리 절 부처님은 마음씨가 좋아요. 마음속 찌든 때 깨끗이 씻기고 우리의 소원을 모두 다 들으시며 언제나 우리 곁에 항상 웃고 계시는 부처님이 좋아요. 부처님이 좋아요.
Wow, that was that was really nice. Especially I liked some of the subtitles saying that the grandmas are the masters of the Lotus Lantern making and they're the heroes of this festival. Yeah, I think the heroes are big in fashion considering the Avengers and
Because they have a many experience.
yeah. No spoilers on that. And later on, we will talk more about the lantern makings and our impressions on that. But now, meanwhile, while we've been watching the video clip, they have the live feed from the parade on site. So, do we have it ready? 준비됐나요? Do we have it ready? No, not yet. Okay, not yet.
Not
Okay. Back to the conversation time.
Yes. Okay.
So, what were the most impressive things that you watched from the? Oh, is it ready? Is it on? Okay. Now that's the live feed.
가장 먼저
That's from the Dongdaemun gate, right?
Looks like it.
오방번이 보이고
그렇습니다.
또 그 뒤에는 탄생분이 아기 부처님을 좌우로 모시고 있는 산천왕, 운수, 보현 벌써 다 보이네요. 제 눈에는
When I was
벌써
coming over, because I
저
lived
멀리
in
이렇게
Korea,
화면에
I saw the
보이는데
floats
저는
and the
한
people
등
getting
벌써 다
ready for the
보이는데
parade.
Oh, you saw them
저희의
actually.
시각으로 보니까 이렇게
Live
하늘에서
drone feed.
보니까 다이
Bless the technology.
또 조망된 모습을 보니까 정말 넓고 저 위에 준비하는 분들이 많이 계시구나. 또 좌우에 일찍부터 자리하고 계신 분들이 많이 계십니다.
예, 그리고 이 자리를 함께하는 우리 연등행렬의
I have to
모든
say
분들이
it's one of the
자발적으로
very
손수
few
만든
moments
이
that Seoul City
연등을
is
들고
blocking. That is one of the
That's
main
very
roads,
nice.
one of the
이제
busiest road of the
연등행렬을
Seoul
준비를
City,
지금
and
다
they blocked the
마치고
entire area for
이제
this
그
festival.
시작의 첫 걸음을 벌써 뛰어가고 있지 않나 하는 생각이 듭니다.
And the parade is like divided into
조금씩
different
모습을
like
보여주고
categories
있는데요.
of people
그렇죠. 이제
wearing
지금
different
벌써
colors,
right.
right?
연등의
There's blue,
깃발이 나붙기는 거
yellow,
보니까
red.
이제 시작이 벌써 된 것 같습니다.
그렇습니다.
So it
이제
has
연등행렬의
just started.
선두 움직이는 모습.
And as you
네,
can see in the
저희 방송에서 보니까
subtitle,
조금씩 들어오고 있는데요.
this festival
네.
is the important intangible
연등의 깃발
cultural
앞에
property
보이시는지 모르겠습니다.
number 122.
네.
And according to Venerable Toil, that was designated
네, 좀
in
아쉬운
2010.
네.
Yes, 2000.
Right, not in 2012.
Yeah.
그렇습니다.
And also parade, this parade started
네, 이제
in
연등의 깃발 뒤로
1955.
네.
1955.
Yeah.
Wow, long time ago.
After Korea Wars,
네.
2 years.
Right after
Right
Korean
after.
War
로
ended.
해서 그런
2 years.
걸까요?
Long heritage.
네.
Yeah.
Yeah.
그야말로
Well, we have to say that actually the festival started from about over 100, 1,300 years ago, and then during the war probably it stopped during the Korean War. How long did Korean War last? 3 years, right? From
years.
1950,
Yeah.
and then it's resumed in 1955.
Yeah, 1955. Yeah, right.
Resumed.
And also, in here you see the
I mean, because it was
various type
halted
of
during the
lanterns.
wartime.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
The event itself.
You see now, very different type of the lanterns. You can see from about 1,000 years ago they made different type of the lanterns. Before then, and then they only simply the made the lotus.
Just the
Oh,
lotus.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I saw that they said something about Buddha's 5 directions. What does the direction? What do they mean by 5 directions?
5 directions meaning the 4 cardinal directions and
Okay.
then the central direction. Yeah.
Because I was thinking there's 4, right? But yeah, the center, right?
The
Okay.
center. So you're talking about the 5 direction Buddha flag, 오방불번.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 5 color is very important. When the Buddha enlightenment and then discovered the summer through enlightenment, at the times he saw the 5 colors. That is the 5 colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Buddhism there are 5 main colors.
Yes.
With it 5 different directions.
Yes.
Blue in the middle, I think white in the north, yellow, red, and blue. So these are the 5.
White in the north, blue in the
Center.
In the center.
and then east,
West is the red.
red.
East.
East is white.
White.
I think. Yes, east is white, and then
South
south is yellow,
yellow.
and then
North was
No, north is
white.
White.
North was white.
yeah.
Right.
No,
No, east
Anyway.
was white. Yeah.
No?
east is white.
Yeah.
Yeah, and north is green. Green.
Green.
Yeah,
North is
that's
green.
right. That's right. 5
got
colors.
it.
Right.
Okay.
You know the Buddhism flag? Flag was made used the 5 colors.
Right.
Yeah.
There is such a
That
thing as a
color
Buddhist
is,
flag, actually.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never.
When the
I have
Buddha
one next to
enlightenment,
my home.
he saw the 5 colors. Yeah, using the 5 colors, we made the Buddhism flag. Yes.
When was that made? I mean,
no. Maybe before the 1960.
1960s.
Yeah,
something
at the
like that.
times the world, all country of the monks joined, and then they make the
Oh, okay.
Buddhism.
They had a big
club.
conference
Yeah,
or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like the conference.
Okay.
I think that was the World Buddhist Association or something. I vaguely remember the name of the association, but yes, I think that was when the flag was first made.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
A big conference, something like that.
Another thing I just wanted to I don't know, ask about is the symbol itself, because
That's literally
people
what I was
like,
thinking about.
right? Because
Yeah.
the majority of us is like foreigners. When I first came to Korea, I was seeing these symbols, and then it's kind of resembles the
Because the symbol of
Right.
Buddhism, when you see it in Korea on maps or similar things, are very resemblant to the swastika of Nazism.
So
Yeah.
Nazism.
Yeah.
No, it is.
It's
you know,
different,
opposite
completely
side.
different.
the
Yeah.
opposite
Right.
side. Yeah, but for us,
Specifically
when we
for
first,
Westerners and Jewish people or Israeli people, when I came for the first time to Korea, I
You
saw
were
it and I
shocked to
was
see
shocked. I was like, "What? No way!"
So,
Why not
So you
see
was very surprised. Yeah?
I was very surprised. So I was just interested to know what those symbols in the
Temples.
what does it mean in
does it mean?
Buddhism?
That is the poor, the man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being
this
full.
size, this symbol means the a man in Chinese letters. Yeah. So this mean is the poor.
Being full. Being
Yeah.
full.
Whole, being whole.
Being whole. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
and it's very interesting because like similar symbols
Similar
would
symbols
mean
mean something
Yeah.
completely
Right.
different in a cultural
Yeah.
context. Yeah.
very interesting.
It's a symbol of auspiciousness.
Oh.
Auspiciousness. So even the name swastika, for example, it's from the I don't know if it's actually from the Sanskrit word or not, but the Sanskrit word for auspiciousness is svaha. Svaha. And many mantras end with svaha, like
Sabaha.
Savaha. Yeah, sabaha.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's right.
what does that mean again?
Sabaha is at the end of a lot. It's a kind of a ending word of a lot of Korean Buddhist chanting or
Mantras.
mantras.
So it means it's a Sanskrit word meaning auspiciousness. So that is the that symbol that that represents many of the temples. That is a symbol of auspiciousness.
I see.
Originally from Buddhism, originally from India. So,
Uh-huh.
but as Venerable Doyle said, it turns in the different direction than the
Right.
ones they use
Yeah,
in
it's not the
Germany.
same direction.
The
So,
opposite
yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
Now we're looking at wow, really huge lanterns, elephant.
Do you know her?
The
Her? No.
not
Who is
personally.
she?
Yeah, she
I never
is
met her.
called the Munsu Wosal.
Oh,
Munsu Bodhisattva.
Munsu Bodhisattva, okay.
Yeah.
Bodhisattva.
Yeah, she is the represent of the Panya,
Wisdom. Okay.
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this looks like Sachunwang.
One of the
Yeah.
four heavens of
Yeah.
Four-
no.
four kings of heavens?
Sachunwang protected the Buddhisms and then keep the temple. Yeah.
Right, they're the
And then
protectors. Yeah.
Protect the Buddhism and the temple.
So the four heavenly kings represent
yes, yes.
east,
Yeah.
west, south,
South
and north.
Yeah,
Right, right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. I believe the north one is connected with wealth. So yeah, sometimes people go to the north king, to ask for prosperity and so forth. So
The northern king might be a little more particularly popular among.
that's right. Very popular in Tibetan Buddhism.
I think it'll be same anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially in China, it's very popular.
I've seen Taiwanese temples like really in luxurious color with a lot of decorations, and I think that must have something, maybe that might have something to do with the northern heavenly king.
So if the northern heavenly king is, let's say, taking care of wealth, then the rest would connotate to what?
They're protectors of the temple as well as protectors of Dharma. So they basically they help those who practice Dharma and propagate Dharma and protect the temples and protect the practitioners. So they're called Dharmapala, which is Dharma protectors.
Okay.
So I know like one is like each is associated to each direction, like east, west, south, north, and then each has like controls like music. Another one actually has the governs something else, and then the northern king governs the wealth.
Right.
So I forgot the other two.
But this type of the directions is only the Mahayana Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism, they don't believe that the east and south, north.
So a little different belief
different,
system.
And may I ask how many like different, let's say, types, or schools of Buddhism there are?
Three. Yeah. Long time ago, only divided two, Mahayana and Theravada. Now, divided three.
With the
and Tibetan Buddhisms, we called the Diamond Buddhisms. Yeah.
Vajrayana.
Yeah.
And the Korea is following the
Mahayana.
Zen Buddhism.
Mahayana, yeah.
There's basically three main traditions of Buddhism. One is the Theravada tradition, that's Sri Lanka and Thailand, Myanmar,
Southeast Asian countries.
mostly Southeast Asian countries. And then there is the Zen, or Sun we call it in Korean, or Chan is called in China. Zen Buddhism is Korea, China, Japan,
Northeastern.
a little bit of Vietnam, so mostly in the eastern. And then there is the Tibetan Buddhism, which is Tibet and Nepal and Mongolia, and so these are the three main
Schools
not schools, but three main traditions of Buddhism.
So we called this Diamond Buddhism.
And the parade has just passed the turn for 6 offerings, and now it's moving to
they're carrying.
after some of the head monks, and then other monks are following the parade with big bowls in their hands.
Are these the bowls? They don't look like bowls.
Before
Before they were, okay.
the bowls, yes.
Yeah,
Now they're carrying elephants.
Is it elephants? Okay.
And then it says 동자 동여등. It's like just the boy and the girl lantern.
Yeah, the younger boy and girl.
Yeah.
And what is like the order of the parade? Like obviously the beginning would be the monks, right, carrying.
It's apparently patterned, modeled after the king's procession during the Goryeo dynasty. So it's modeled after that. Yeah.
So in the very front there will be royal guards, and then followed by some of the other important officials, and then king would be in the center of the procession,
Oh, okay.
and then followed by other officials behind. And yeah.
So they maintain like the hierarchy kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
The hierarchy is quite important in Korea.
Yes. We had to learn that even like when we learned Korean language. We had to follow.
It's in the language too.
Yeah.
Speaking the honorific form of language, like
Yes,
안녕하세요.
honorifics.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yes.
Now we see the different groups. Now we see on the screen the middle school attached to Dongguk University.
I'm interested because we saw a lot of characters of the guardians and the boy and the girl, but I haven't seen the traditional, I guess, image of Buddha. Do they not make lanterns?
Of course they do.
They do.
Of course they do.
Right.
You'll see some, I'm
Okay.
sure. Yeah, the baby Buddha as well as other, the adult Buddhas, and of course.
That's
of
my
course,
following
yeah.
question, because I know Buddha has a lot of portrayals. So I studied a bit about Buddhism, but is it that there's several Buddhas, or is it the same Buddha that has different, I guess, visualization of the character?
So the Buddha of our generation is Sakamuni Buddha or Shakyamuni Buddha. We call it in Korean. Shakyamuni.
That one,
he was a human being who lived on this earth 2,500 years ago, and that it is his birth that we celebrate. But we say there are many, many Buddhas, and you are also Buddha in nature, and you'll become Buddha one day. I mean, Buddha is the basically is the potential within all of us, for enlightenment. And so many Buddhas have passed because many people have become enlightened, fully enlightened. So in one sense, there are many Buddhas, but the Buddha's birthday we celebrate is the historic Buddha, or Buddha Shakyamuni, or Sakamuni we say in Korean, but Shakyamuni. And he was the one who lived 2,500 years ago. And he is the figure we normally see here. But then there's other Buddhas like Amitabha Buddha. He's he lives in a pure land. But anyway, there are many Buddhas.
I know the figure that most foreigners or Westerners probably can specify as the heavier set Buddha. That has the bowl head. But then when I was studying, I saw that there's a specific Buddha who's not necessarily a boy or a girl. His physique is a little bit androgynous, and he's sitting with his leg on the other leg, very thin. And from what I was taught, that Buddha represents the future. But I don't remember its name. There's a lot
You're talking maybe about the Mirak.
I think Mirak Bangasayusan.
Yeah, that's that is so Mirak or Maitreya Buddha is the future Buddha.
Okay.
So yeah, that's maybe that's the next Buddha after Shakyamuni. So that's the next Buddha to come.
I see.
He's the future Buddha, but he's so there's very famous statues of him all over Korea.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yes, especially Jeollanam-do and Chulcheong-do. Yeah, very famous.
And now we see a flow of beautiful lanterns. It's like a lot of stars and stallions, constellation. Yay, it's drone here. Technology. I mean, actually thinking about this was not possible. This kind of drone shot.
Yes.
It was only possible when we did not have drones back in the 80s by choppers. Like they had to fly the actual chopper.
Wow, really?
And you see a lot of normal people they're just like, I think maybe if I would go there, I would probably decide to either buy a lantern or just make one and then just
jump into the
join in.
You can totally do that. And dear viewers, if you happen to be watching this in and around Seoul, join the parade right now. It's gonna get even more and more awesome towards the end of it. And it looks really beautiful.
I bet when night will fall down completely, it's going to be covered in darkness, the lights of the lanterns are going to be even more spectacular.
As I mentioned in the first part of the show, some of the foreigners, they booked the flight ticket only to watch this festival.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although there is a guideline right now, towards the end when people started there's the wrap-up event where everyone jumps in and the samulnori, the traditional Korean drums and chimes, they start to kick in, and then people just jump in dancing all together, and that's when everything goes crazy happy.
And they're heading, everyone is heading towards the tongue.
Towards the
where are they heading to?
Jogye-sa, isn't it?
Jogye-sa Temple, probably.
temple,
Yes.
So pretty.
What is this character here? I don't recognize.
It says in Korean, 연꽃돌이 든
연꽃.
the Lotus Boy.
Okay.
Lotus Boy.
Yes, similar with
Very cute.
Yes.
Symbol of the lotus. Yeah.
What's really beautiful is to see the mixture of Buddhism, which is not traditionally just a Korean religion, being mixed with Korean culture, with the samunori and the right. Because Buddhism, I mean, it's not something that's found just in Korea. It could be anywhere.
Right.
So to see it being portrayed with the Korean culture is just.
Oh, in here joined the disabled person also. Joined the
right.
pride. Yeah.
You can see the wheelchair in the middle of the parade.
Yes.
So this part of the group has the physically challenged people.
So it's 100% inclusive.
Yeah,
Everyone,
yeah, everyone joins.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the grandmas and grandpas who live nearby, they participate, they join the parade in the middle of it, like anywhere.
설교를 대표하는 사회복지재단으로서 전반적 사회복지사 수행을 통해서 많은 이들을 돕고 소외된 이들에게 부처님의 자비를 전하고자 지난
So
1995년에
the viewers might be wondering, so who are these groups? Who are these people? All, where are they coming from? So these are all the different temples, devotees, or Buddhist associations, or some of them are from welfare facilities, different organizations. So yeah, all kinds of Koreans just joined this festival.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the Korean flag.
Wow.
That's not the that was the old flag
Right.
that was used during the Korean independence movement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Looks a little bit different than
Right.
the new one.
사실 진관사는
It's a little different, isn't it?
And that was the original
beautiful.
version.
And it's crazy the fact that it's an actual lantern.
Oh,
It's not
right.
the flag, it's a lantern.
The Koreans are very proud of their flag because it represents so much sacrifice, and now of course Korea enjoys so much freedom and so much prosperity. But to come to this point, there's been so much sacrifice. Korea has a very sad and
Tough
tragic
history.
and tough
Yes.
tough history. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of suffering to bring, to come to this point. So
Right.
we should. This flag represents, I think, quite a bit. Yeah.
According to our producer, they just informed us that that first version of Korean flag was drawn on top of Japanese flag.
Oh.
During the Japanese
The
colonial era.
colonization,
Yeah. We just could not produce our own flag out of garment or out of something. So we drew the Korean flag on top of Japanese flag.
Oh. Is that the first version?
I think
wonder.
the one the
saw?
lantern one.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is
I
the
see.
first version.
I see. Interesting. Maybe that's how they got that design, is because they had to, cover over the
center.
the center. Yeah.
Maybe that's how
Yeah,
they came up with
interesting,
it.
isn't it?
The
Yeah.
red dot and the Japanese flag. Right?
Wow. So we
Wow.
have the Japanese flag to thank for this beautiful Korean flag. That's beautiful.
Now it's
There's so
darker,
many-
and you
Yeah.
see
Yeah. The red lotus.
light.
Wow.
Oh,
All the lights.
That's beautiful. So I assume that's the flag, the colors.
The
right?
rainbow.
The
Yeah.
rainbow.
I think there might be now
금강선.
one of the different groups, 금강삼원
Oh, okay.
Zen
This
practice
is a
center.
very good, strong practice center in Gangnam.
Ah,
Yeah.
and now here comes the big lantern.
I have to say, seeing the floats is just seriously one in a lifetime opportunity. Because
Yeah.
in Israel we don't have floats really. We don't have something in that sense. I know in the U.S. they have it. So the first time I saw floats being lit up was actually in Everland when I went to
Everland.
Yes. So to see it here, being connected to again Buddhism, Korean culture, Korean history, is just magnificent.
And then that's the theme of this year's Lantern Festival. 마음의 자비를, 세상의 평화를. That means the mercy to the mind and the peace to the world. The compassion to the mind
Yes.
and peace to the world.
A compassionate mind, peaceful world. Maybe
Right.
something like that.
Something like that.
끝나면 다시 시작이고.
I hope it's not getting lost in translation.
나 이렇게 만들어서 자랑하고자 하는 그 마음이 아니라 네, 정말 모든 일을
The lantern we saw before, I assume it's the pagoda.
The big
Yeah,
pagoda.
that's right. That's a
So what's
stupa. Yeah.
what's the origins of the pagoda? What is so?
Normally, it goes back to after Lord Buddha passed away. Buddha died. They had relics or his kind of remains.
Including like sarira.
Sariras, yeah, like small pearls as well as many different things. These kind of pearls and jewels are left behind in the ashes of great beings such as the Buddha. So in order to kind of
Commemorate him?
and in order to store those relics, they made stupas or these pagodas or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, and each country's stupa is shaped differently, and the Korean is shaped kind of like the one you just saw.
Really?
That's right. So normally it houses the relics of the Buddha and it represents the mind of the Buddha. So it's kind of a holy object, an object of veneration, and many people go and offer respects to this stupas.
But now, the first time, the stupa shape is similar with the Bodhi leaves. Yeah, and then more and develop, and then now, this type of the pagoda
Came to be.
Yeah.
Well, each pagoda, I mean, each country is different. They have a each country has different shaped pagodas or stupas. So the Tibetans is different than the Koreans and the Myanmar and so forth. So each shape is different.
Does the level of the pagoda changes too? Because it's like floors. There's 1, 2, 3,
No,
going
no.
up. Does it always the same number or?
That's not
necessarily.
important, but the first time, the pagoda shape looks like the very similar with the Bodhi leaves. Yeah, that is very important because the put enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. So when it pass away, and then in order to keeping the Buddha relics, and then they made the shape the Buddha lips, yeah. And then inside they keep, and then develop, and then the other types. And Myanmar pagoda is very similar with the Bodhi lips, and then now totally changed in China, and then in Korea also.
So actually, it was shaped after the Bodhi tree,
Yeah.
where Buddha reached the enlightenment.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and now different order of Buddhism are coming into the parade.
You see, there are many years, the
Wow.
elephant.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes. But I wonder, in
Yeah.
Korea, there are not much elephants.
Yeah,
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
we can see
Only
in
in the zoo.
zoo.
That's right.
Oh, that's the behind. There was a big bell that was Chante order Buddhism, where you watched it back in like 2 years ago in
In
Busan.
Busan.
Yes.
Here's some dragons.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a really
these are
big
beautiful.
dragon.
그러니까요. 막
Very cool. Wow.
This is actually from the Chante order. This one is.
Ah,
Yeah.
that one as well.
Chante and Taego also.
Oh, Taego also.
Taego
Okay,
order.
okay.
Yeah, Taego order also.
So Buddhism in different places is portrayed by different animals? Because you said in Busan it was portrayed mostly by dragons. Is it the same in all of Korea, or would it?
There's some symbolic animals within the Buddhism, but it's kind of quite accepted by most of the countries. It's not necessarily according to country, like elephants, monkeys. These are the animals that existed during the time of Buddha, and also dragons. Actually, the origin of the dragon, at least in Buddhism, is the Naga. Naga is a form of kind of dragon, and so when the Naga came to China, it became a dragon. They adopted the name dragon. So Naga is similar to a dragon. It's kind of like a mystical animal that's shaped like kind of like a snake, a serpent, or a dragon. Yeah.
So his name is, Yong.
That's right. I'm named after Nagarjuna.
Yeah,
Nagarjuna.
Nagarjuna.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That makes
But,
sense now.
Yeah.
but in Buddhism, the white elephant is very important symbols, because of the the Maya,
Mahamaya,
yeah,
Maya buin.
Maya is the Buddha's mother. Yeah, when she born, when she
Pregnant.
pregnant.
Yeah, when she was pregnant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was pregnant. Yeah. She has dreams. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. At the time, the white elephant, entered his body.
Her womb.
Yeah. From that times, white elephant is very important symbol
Very symbolic.
of Buddhism. Yeah.
It's an auspicious symbol.
Yeah.
Sometimes it symbolizes the mind. Yeah.
Oh, white
Or
elephant
mind.
symbolizes one's mind.
Yes. Basically, we say that the mind can be trained into becoming like a very servile or very helpful elephant. An elephant is very strong, and it can be very helpful. So it's kind of like our mind can be like a wild monkey, everywhere and very distracted and wild, or it can be like a tamed elephant, which is very useful, very helpful, very strong. So, so that's the process of meditation.
That's a great analogy. It makes sense to me. The mind can be sometimes like a monkey doing
Yeah.
monkey business.
That's right.
And
Hopping
then-
here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. The Lord of the Buddha said, always our mind is wandering,
right.
here and there. Yeah.
But if you keep practicing, then you can make your mind
Tame it,
like a
Yes.
tamed elephant. It's strong. You can focus.
That's right. And useful. Very helpful. Very
Right.
helpful. We say the mind can be your most helpful best friend.
Or your biggest enemy.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
우리 모두가 함께 힘내고
그렇죠.
다시
네.
더 넓은 세상
Those
속에서 나아가고
thousands of people spent immeasurable amount of time making all those lanterns.
자, 이제 하늘 위에
In the first video that we watched, it said like it took them like 50 days or
Oh, right.
50
Usually,
days?
yeah, according to that video.
Or even longer. Venerable
Yeah.
Buddha said
Right.
even longer, several months sometimes.
모습. 네. 그리고 환희로 미소를 짓는
Oh,
thanh
according to our producer, she added that those 50 days, usually taking 50 days, it's usually for the company workers who volunteer for making the lanterns. So it
after
must
work or
take much
something.
longer for other people.
많이 등장을 하고 있어서
Grandmas take much longer time.
TV를 통해 보시면
Oh.
도대체 뭔가
They're saying that starting tomorrow, right after the event, the
doubt
grandmas
that.
will start to prepare for the next year's
We
lantern.
don't get any break at all. That's unfortunate.
I think that also symbolizes like constant practice
yes,
making
and
lanterns.
like patience too. I mean,
Lighting up
you
the
have
world.
you have to pay attention to details and everything.
Yeah.
지금 아마 횡렬 속에서 함께하고 있는 것 같습니다.
그렇습니다.
보이시네요?
네.
사자등입니다.
Now we
Lions?
see,
The
yeah.
lion.
So lions are also another
Wisdoms.
very common symbol in Buddhism. Oftentimes the Buddha's teaching is called the lion's roar. So like in Korean when we do when we request the Dharma teaching from Venerable, we say, please give the lion roar. 사자, like that. So the lion is a very positive symbol in Buddhism.
Yeah, also, lion's meanings is the
그리고 유독 더
wisdom.
느낌이
When you mentioned about the roar, I was thinking like it would be like a wake-up call or something like that.
That's right.
It's-
That's
yeah,
right.
it
That's
connects.
exactly
It does
right.
connect.
From wake up call from ignorance, from the darkness of suffering, ignorance of suffering. That's right.
참여를 빼놓을 수가 없고
We also say the Buddha was the lion among the lion of men. He was the
만들고 그리고
so the lion is very often used in Buddhism as a symbol.
종로에 참 많은 매력이
In
있죠.
here, same, you see that the lions and ride the 문수보살.
The
Yeah.
Bodhisattva.
Both of them,
지고 있어요.
아, 지금 깃발이
represent
보입니다.
of the wisdom.
네, 깃발이 보입니다.
Also, the lion is like the lotus, rises from the mud. We say the lion is not alarmed. This is kind of a symbol for
자, 이제 조금씩
for renunciation. In other words, the lion is not alarmed by other animals. So there's a kind of a sutra, like the lion is not alarmed by other animals, like the lotus is not tainted by the mud, like the sky is not harmed by the clouds. Be like this. Live in the world, but not of the world. So this means don't be tainted by the world, don't be tainted by others, and gain enlightenment. Like the lion, who is not alarmed by other animals, because he is king, right?
Right.
Also, the lion is used as a symbol of meditation.
Yeah.
There's two ways. Normally, if you throw a stick the dog, if you throw a stick at a dog, the dog will chase the stick. But if you throw a stick at the lion, then the lion will chase you.
Right.
So it's kind of a symbol of meditation. Don't follow after thoughts. Go toward the source of the thoughts.
BBS TV 라이브로 검색하시면 유튜브에서 저희 세계 최초로 우리나라 한국 최초로 BBS 불교방송 최초로 영어로 연등회.
Meanwhile, we're getting the comments from our YouTube windows that there are people who've been waiting for Venerable Doyle and Venerable Yongsu, and they're commenting right now that they're so good to see both venerables here on the YouTube.
Well, thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. I don't know how you said you didn't know how many people watch, but there's at least one person.
And speaking of which, we actually we posted the link
published a bit.
on our
Okay.
Thanks
social media. So I'm guessing
3 people at least.
Maybe with Ryan's friends, maybe 4. She's popular, so.
Oh, actually, we have Korean TV broadcasting, and I think our English broadcasting is intermittently being broadcast there as well. So we are actually being viewed by a lot more people.
Oh.
Yeah.
그리고 연꽃으로서 이렇게 장엄을 해서 들고 들어온 등입니다.
네, 저 흥인 지문부터 해서 연등 행렬을 하나하나 자세하게 야간 드론 촬영을 통해서
See all those. Oh, that's the 십이지신, the 12 zodiac animals. Yeah, like the mouse, the cow, tiger,
Snake,
a rabbit. Right.
장엄등을
그렇습니다.
우리 대학생 불자들이 이렇게 들고
And all kinds of different adornment lanterns are being held by the associations of college students.
The Buddhist Association.
Yeah, Buddhist Association. So they're actually your friends, college buddies.
국민대, 덕성여대, 동덕여대, 명지대, 서울여자간호대, 서강대, 서울대, 서울여자대학교, 성균관대.
university students.
This is quite a big organization.
Right.
인하대, 중앙대학교가 함께 오는 행렬.
I mean, Seongyun University, Haim, and then Ryan
From Hankook University, but I wonder if
University of Foreign Studies, right?
Studies, yes.
한국외대.
한국외대.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sure your friends must be there too.
I mean,
I heard my
anyone could
university
join.
being called, so I feel a part of it.
But your university is very famous for that. I guess it was the
History,
first,
yeah.
right? The first
학교
university.
말은 동아리 법당에서 함께 부처님 법을 공부하고
네.
또 그리고 마음을 다스리는 참선을 하고
Oh, are these like the mayors?
우리가 저 이
Who are
자리에
wearing
must be
suits?
someone
Right?
famous,
Some
Yeah.
government
학교
officials.
이름을 안 불러줄 수 있겠습니까?
그럼요. 사실 더 크게 불러드리고 싶었는데.
Or maybe something to do with universities. I don't know.
I think he was one of
Here's
the
my
political
university.
Oh, was it?
영어 university.
There's
Right.
성균.
Seongyun, yeah, Seongyun University.
Seongyun University.
Well, where's 한국외대? Come on.
Right. I mean, they
Come
gotta
on,
be
한국외대.
somewhere.
And then that is Dongguk University.
동굴.
Yeah,
Yes.
I graduated at that university.
Oh, you?
Here in Seoul.
Yeah, in 1988. Yeah.
88.
동국대학교 행렬입니다.
Also, Dongguk University is very famous for like art, right? Very artistic.
I think it's
Because,
famous for
because this university is established by the monk and then the Jogye-oda actually. Yeah.
불교 청년 장학생, 외국인 유학생 등 여러 구성원들과 함께 행렬을 하고 있습니다.
Again,
대학교는요.
you know,
the white
yeah,
elephant,
white elephant.
the big elephant.
그렇죠, 정각원.
저도 학생 시절에도 그렇고 출가 이후에
So far, I only thought of the elephant as a symbol of just being strong. Like, so Buddhist teaching is like strong; it can lead you. But until Venerable Yongsu mentioned today that actually there is a saying that you should train your mind as the elephant. It can be strong and it can be useful. I really like that analogy.
The duality of elephants, I feel like, is beautiful because, as you said, they're big, they're very prominent, they're strong, but at the same time, they're very, very gentle creatures.
That's right.
So,
And now you can hear all the Samanori
Yes.
traditional.
The party is kicking in.
Good ear.
네,
Oh, the drums.
Yeah, traditional Korean drums, 장구.
그래서 서울여자대학교 예, 대부분 학생들이 지나가고 있다 보니까
These are still the university students.
Looks like it, right?
The Union of University
University
Students
students,
as an association.
저희
Okay.
왠지 좀 무섭고
It's nice that all the Korean universities have a Buddhist organization that you can be involved in.
네,
So
지금 이제 사실 동국대학교 상징 아니겠습니까?
백상등.
등이
there's
보이고
another
있습니다.
elephant.
사실 저런 장엄등이나 등을
I know in modern Korea, some of the people, some of the Buddhists are concerned about the
그리고 예전에는
the decreasing number of the Buddhists in Korea and kind of worldwide. Actually, the religion itself is losing its foothold worldwide. But then it's really nice to see that the young minds being all together and still trying to follow the teachings of Buddha. And yeah, not only the young minds, but with all different ages, different genders, even foreigners being together for this, celebrating Buddha's birthday. I think it's really meaningful, and this has been going for over 1,300 years, and we're still doing it in 2019. Woohoo! Yay!
대불련의 모습 지나가고 그리고 우리 동국대학교 우리 불교 학생의 동국대학교 우리 많은 불자님들 벌써 함께 가고 계시고요.
One of my aunts, she plays some of the instruments in this hamulori, the traditional Korean quartet thingy, and she joins this. She must be somewhere there.
Every year.
Yeah.
Isn't this your temple in Busan?
Oh yes.
No,
No.
different.
Samgwon.
That's
Samgwon.
Samgwon Temple.
Oh, okay, sorry.
They do sound similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
쉽지 않고 요즘 청년들이 얼마나 바쁘고 고단한 일상을 보내고 계십니까? 그렇죠? 네.
And that's the Association of Civil Officers.
Oh.
Yeah.
천사의 모습이 깃발의 모습이 보였어요.
네네.
There's also a organization within the government, isn't there? Buddhist
I believe
organization.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is, I met some representatives from there.
Oh, you see? That is the Ashoka pillar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What is Ashoka pillar?
This one.
The pillar on top of the
top
elephant.
of the lions. This 4 lions there. The east, west, north.
It's also a symbol of India.
Yeah.
Ashoka was a great Buddhist king who erected all of these massive stone pillars, really impressive.
Yeah.
And you can find them in different places throughout India. And he did that in order to spread the Buddha Dharma and the message of Buddha. And this actually is a symbol of India. You know, the flag
Yes, right,
within
yeah.
on the flag. It's the middle is that's the Dharma wheel or Dharma chakra. It's
Right,
called.
right.
Yeah, and that is from the Ashoka pillar.
Yeah.
I only remember learning the Ashoka style of different sculptures back in the history class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was a great emperor. He first actually slaughtered many people, and he was a ruthless emperor. And after he slaughtered this one particular country, he went and saw the effects and saw all the slaughtered
aftermath.
aftermath. And then when he saw that, he was stricken with regret and sorrow, and he repented. And then he vowed that he would never do that again. And then he adopted Buddhism, and then he became really one of the greatest proponents of Buddhism in the history of Buddhism, and became very peaceful and great emperor. And now he's one of the main historical figures of India.
And then also the Ashoka, son and daughter sent to the Sri Lanka also. So at that time, the daughter bring the Bodhi tree.
The Bodhi tree, where the Buddha later before reached the enlightenment.
Enlightenment one.
I just saw Guryongsa Temple. That's the Guryongsa. Is
But,
that different Guryongsa Temple?
Yes.
Okay, that is not very.
Not my temple.
All right, not your temple.
Okay. You have a float also, Venerable Doyer?
Yes.
You have a float here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let us know when it comes out. We'll cheer.
Sorry?
I mean, let us know when it comes out. Your float? You have a float here or no? During the parade? I
They're
mean, a float?
participating?
Your temple is participating in the parade or no?
No.
No. Okay.
Because my temple is still very small.
Oh, I see.
So, and
Okay,
then
okay.
not much devoid.
I see.
And then, so I cannot still join the display.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're joining this parade right here. Yes.
No. Also, I live in Daegu. Yeah. So I cannot join this.
It'll be difficult.
They have these parades throughout the country, isn't it? Like all the different, yes.
I think
In major cities, not at the same time. But
Yes, right.
yeah, in Daegu, in Busan, in Incheon, all these different cities have their own parades.
Parade, I
yeah.
think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. But a different weeks. Yeah. Daegu had a ceremony. Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. Oh, this is Cheongjijong.
Chongjijong. It says it's a new order of Buddhism in Korea.
Oh, I think it's a branch of the what's that one that does the Om Mani Padme Hum? Which one is that one? It was led by the lay Buddhists. There are no monks, monastics in this order, but I think it's a branch from that order. Yeah.
모습의 등을 구경을 했습니다.
Well, according to our producers, they just wrote up that the motto of this Chongji order of Buddhism is actually what Venerable Yongsu said. It's the widespread of it's like the everyday Buddhism, practicing everyday Buddhism.
That's right. Yeah, it's a 한국말로 밀교. It says that's right. This is the part from the Om Mani Padme Hum sect. This is the the fourth largest sect. I can't remember the name now. 천태정. I know. 저기 그다음에 태고정, and then what's the fourth one? It's led by lay people. But anyway, 진각정. That's right. 진각정. So from 진각정 came this Chongjijong, this new order, and these are their kind of motto, or their kind of motto is to make Buddhism, incorporate Buddhism into everyday life, make it, as you said, everyday Buddhism. So it's led by lay Buddhists, and I think lay Buddhists have a really big part in the future of Buddhism. Especially in the modern society.
Right.
And they have to be part of the Buddhism. We say 사부대중, which means the monastics, 비구 비구니, and ubaswai, which is the lay woman and the lay man. So we need these 4 elements to make the Buddhist Sangha. So the lay Buddhists, I think, have a very important role in the future of Buddhism.
Absolutely.
Like you.
Moderating.
Being part of it, yes. Some of the float lanterns here are made after the shape of some of the important characters of traditional Korean folk tales.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
I saw the
도깨비.
faces,
like the people in the masks dancing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
정말 노력을 많이 해준 계세요.
그렇습니다.
And now here comes Bongsa Temple. It's another one of the major temples in Seoul.
Beautiful temple.
Yeah.
봉은사 인열이 시작이 됐습니다.
Seoul has a few extraordinarily beautiful temples, and one of them is this Bongsa temple. If you haven't gone, you should definitely go.
No, I've been personally
been?
to
Okay.
no, not in Seoul. I've been to like two, mainly two. I don't quite remember the names, but it was near the city hall area.
City Hall area.
Yeah.
Like Seoul City
Maybe
Hall.
Jogye-sa.
Probably.
Yeah.
that is 저게사.
I think the most beautiful temples in Seoul is Jogye-sa, Bongsa, and the Gilsangsa. Yeah, I think these three temples are extraordinarily beautiful, and if any tourists come to Seoul, definitely check out these three. They're within the city, but they're of large scale, and they're just really beautiful and very, very traditional.
And it's very peaceful too.
Very
Like I remember
peaceful.
whenever like I go, especially when I was in Busan, all the temples were to be in a mountain. And then when you just see like the tranquility of the whole place, it just brings so much peace into your heart.
특히 이제 우리
I experienced one temple in Busan when I went to visit there. I remember coming there. I came there from Yeondeung, driving up. And as she said, I didn't know it's going to be walking up. It's always at a very high hill.
mountain.
Yeah, so I would walk. And then when I arrived to the center of the temple, there's a huge, beautiful statue of Buddha. Just gold. You can see it from miles away. Very, very beautiful. And it was just on the ocean. So you have everything, the nature with the trees and then the ocean.
You mean 영궁 temple? 영궁
I don't remember.
That's
Oh,
got to be
beautiful.
Haedong Yeongung Temple.
But actually, that temple is the history is very short. Yeah. They made this temple for tourists.
Oh, a lot of foreigners were there.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's a very busy temple. I've been
Yeah.
also. Yeah, beautiful but very busy.
I think their promotion strategy is definitely working. Yeah.
지금 여러분들 보는 게요. 주마등.
It says 주마등.
세월이 주마등 같다.
I'm not sure what.
그 주마등
네네.
안쪽에 빛을
That's
밝혀서
nice.
빛이
Yeah, this is
저
good.
Under the Bodhi tree, looks like.
이제 막 말이 뛰어가고 세월이 변하는.
Wow, there's like
네네.
some kind of shadow being screened on top.
Yes.
On the
then
surface
inside
of the
right
lantern.
and there's the
Wow.
Tonic summer.
Right.
깨달아서 또 부처님 법을 더
The shades of different shapes were like moving on the surface of the lantern.
또 그런 상징적인 뜻을
I saw
품었기
first time
때문에
this type of
주마등을 또
It's kind of innovative. Yeah. That's good. And also there must be telling some kind of story about maybe the legend or some kind of story.
어둠이라고 하는 것이
네.
이름이 어둠이지
네네.
결국은 그
This,
밝음이라고 하는 것에
This looks like the river flow.
Yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
says on the screen.
I heard some of the foreigners coined the Korean Lantern Festival as the Lantern River Flow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of maybe the currents of the wind just keeps
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah, it looks
Right.
like the waves.
명까지도
And then people are also carrying the lanterns
Yeah.
and then
그래서
constantly
이
moving.
연등을 보고
So
있으면 만든 사람도 그 연등을 보는 사람도 그 연등 자체도 그리고 연등의 주위도 다 밝아지게 되는 뜻인 거죠.
this is one of the moments that I feel like, okay, so Korea is like in terms of the festival, it's not too bad.
봉은사
It's not. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You can see them dancing. You can see them probably cheering, and you can see the colors of Korea as a country, not necessarily related to Buddhism. That's what's beautiful to me, just to see the traditional Korean culture being portrayed with the portrayal of Buddhism.
I've got to say I appreciate that comment from a third eye perspective from foreigners, because when I happened to watch a YouTube clip about Brazilian carnival, and it looks extravagant, like extraordinary. And then I kind of envy them, but then now looking at them, that is what we have in Korea, the Lotus Lantern Festival.
That's right. It's kind of equivalent, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
we're dancing, we're doing our own thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes, and it's Korean. So we have something to say to the
Show
world
the
that
world,
yeah.
yeah.
고무니 등이 있습니다.